I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And every night we bring you big stories, compelling stories, important stories. Tonight, this show is loaded, absolutely loaded. Let's begin with the trial you're watching on Court TV down in Pasco County, Florida. Curtis Reeves accused of murdering Chad Oulson. He shot and killed him. We know that. But he's claiming self-defense. The whole thing taking place inside of a movie theater, okay? And let's start right there. That whole concept of shooting someone inside a movie theater. Shocking, right? We've seen like the theater shootings, the mass killings, but this is like self-defense. You believed at that moment you were in danger of great bodily harm or imminent death in a movie theater during the previews? That's what he's claiming. He's 71 years old at the time this happened, former member of the SWAT unit, former police captain in Tampa, and he's getting into an argument about phone use. It's a thing of his, that's fine. And he's in this argument with this young dad who's younger, probably a little taller than he is, and the dad is standing up. He's in the row in front of him. And Curtis Reeves in the defense is claiming that at this moment, as he's sitting in his chair, Chad Oulson is this threat to his life, and he's got to use deadly force. That's what this case is about. That's what the argument is. Now, there's a lot of different ways for the jury to figure this out, right? First, you've got the video that doesn't show Chad Oulson. You just see his arms for a second. You see some popcorn flying, and you see Curtis Reeves, but you don't see Chad Oulson. So you don't really see what Curtis Reeves is so afraid of. You don't see it. Now, witnesses have testified, and we covered that, the string of eyewitnesses. The defense will have their own, but moviegoers, people that were there that day, describing what they saw. Then you have like common sense. You've been to a movie theater, you know what it's like to sit in a row, and then there's a row in front of you, and you know there's a divide there. So why was he so afraid? How else can we figure out what Chad Oulson was doing and how he was positioned at the moment Curtis Reeves fired that weapon? The medical examiner, expert testimony, taking a look at the angle, the trajectory, the wounds, and trying to recreate for this jury what was happening at that moment. And the big question is, as you hear this testimony, I'm going to play it for you. As you hear this testimony, what picture does it paint? Does it paint a picture of, oh, Curtis Reeves is scared to death because of what is looming in front of him? Or is it just a guy standing in the row in front of him? Let's take a listen.
From the photograph, can you determine the path of the bullet?
Yes, in my opinion, it's coming in this. Her hand is not like this. Her hand is kind of like this, and it's hard to get my hand because my ring finger wants to do what my pinky finger doesn't want to do. But anyway, the bullet comes in like this, goes through this ring finger, and then comes right across here, and then continues on. Her hand is somewhat, somewhat right here. Maybe we step back a little bit more. It's here, and I believe that her pinky finger's bent a little bit like this, so the bullet comes in, goes through this finger, scrapes the top of that finger, and then goes into Mr. Oulson's chest. But her hand could be on his chest. I can't tell if it's, and I think her wrist is a little bit down like this. It's coming up because the stippling is mostly here. So her hand could be here, could be on his chest. I can't really tell exactly. From a forensic pathology context, it's best to consider where her hand would be according to what she said, what other people say, and what the environment dictates. But again, anywhere in here are anatomically and scientifically possible.
Curtis Reeves says that he feared for his life. He was scared of this man in front of him. Court TV crime and justice reporter Matthew Johnson was in Pasco, Florida. Pasco County, Florida has more for us tonight.
The courtroom was quiet. The gallery, they leaned in as they heard Curtis Reeves, in his own words, describe why he shot his gun at Chad Oulson in the first place. That was just one of the two big takeaways from court.
I think I got something in my eye. What do you do?
First, I personally removed his glasses, put them on the trunk of the car.
All right.
I observed his eye. I didn't see any redness. I didn't see any foreign objects. I didn't see any lacerations or abrasions, anything like that. The sclera, the white part of his eye, was white.
That was a paramedic who testified that he did not see any injuries on Reeves' face that would be consistent with any sort of attack. On the stand, day 3, there were more forensic experts and a medical examiner. They spoke about collecting evidence, including clothing from then 71-year-old Curtis Reeves. But it was the 2 recorded interviews with the defendant that will stay in this jury's mind.
If I had it to do over again, it would never have happened. We would lose. But you don't get do-overs.
So what made you shoot him?
Well, I guess it scared the hell out of me.
As that audio played, the jury and the defendant, just a few feet away from each other, looked down to read from the transcript that was provided by the prosecution. Vivian, his wife, held her head down during the recording as she sat behind her husband. A few yards away from her, in the gallery, in the same aisle, is the victim's wife, Nicole Oulson. She shook her head and looked at her attorney at one point. Now, earlier today, I did speak with her attorney. He says that she's not doing any interviews on camera because she might be called back as a witness, but she's going to be in the courtroom every single day. And he said what she heard in the courtroom today, absolute lies. In Dade City, Matt Johnson, Court TV.
All right, Matt Johnson down in Pasco County for us tonight. Let's bring in our think tank tonight. Joining us in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy. In Los Angeles, California, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. And in Phoenix, Arizona, the attorney who represented Jodi Arias and the author of the book series, which you need to read, Trapped with Ms. Arias. Kirk Nurmi is with us. Okay, Eklund Mercy. He shot Chad Oulson because Chad scared the heck out of me. Scared the heck out of me. Like, boom, boom. I mean, is that self-defense? Someone scared the heck out of you?
Yeah, it works for officers all the time. But with regards to this case, we have former law enforcement. He gives orders. He doesn't make requests. So I think something was injured, and it was his ego. You can tell that he's probably just over just how ornery he is with regards to text messages. He has been a menace in that movie theater for some time now. And now somebody actually stood up to him, and his ego was bruised. And now somebody is dead, and he did that. So I think that that's what happened.
Now, you're talking about his ego being bruised. Another thing that he alleges is that he was hit in the eye. Matt played a little piece of it. Let me play a little more. Here's Curtis Reeves' interview with police, and then the EMT testifying about what he observed. Take a listen.
I'm leaning all the way back in my chair as far as I can to get away from him, and suddenly he's virtually on top of me. So because I'm stretched out, if you look at these pants, pistol was in the right front pocket. And when you're sitting down, there's no way you can get it out. So I'm stretched out trying to get away from him. My left arm is out in front of me, and I think I'm saying either no, 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 or whoa, 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 one or the other. And then suddenly my head was to the right. So he hit me with something. And I assume it was his fist. But I don't know. You see, something is wrong with my left eye.
When someone indicates they might have something in their eye, what is the first procedure that you would do? We'll talk about what you did, but just typically if someone says, I think I got something in my eye, what do you do?
First, I personally removed his glasses, put them on the trunk of the car.
All right.
I observed his eye. I didn't see any redness. I didn't see any foreign objects. I didn't see any lacerations or abrasions, anything like that. The sclera, the white part of his eye, was white.
Okay, Kirk Nurmi. should the defense be sweating this now? He's claiming getting hit or something in his left eye. You've got the EMT who says, I didn't see anything.
They should have been sweating this the day they walked into the courtroom. I mean, but they can only play the cards they're dealt, right? And they have this client who's claiming self-defense. They can't dispute it, so they have to move forward with it. But what we're seeing, Vinny, with all the testimony, the EMT, the medical examiner, and even the defendant's own interview, which I would consider is really a lot closer to a confession, argue against everything he's trying to assert at trial now. You know, he's leaning over the chair. Well, how come he's hit square in the chest as if he was standing up in the row in front of him? Some of the physical evidence just does not stack up. And this eye injury, we talk about glasses and things in the eye, it's laughable when compared to shooting someone square in the chest. So I think Eklund's right. His ego got bruised. That's what the prosecution will probably say in closing. And that's exactly why we're here in this trial, this unfortunate incident.
All right, Nima Rahmani, former federal prosecutor. We've had a discussion similar to this in the past, but I want to ask you about it because I didn't think they were going to do it. The prosecution played the statement of Curtis Reeves, okay? He no longer has to testify to tell his story. Why would you do that, number one? And number two, was it the right call? Because if he doesn't testify, he doesn't get cross-examined. His entire story is in front of this jury. I don't think there's a reason for him to testify anymore.
My preference, Vinny, is generally not to play the defendant's statement in a self-defense case, make him testify. I think the reason the prosecution did it is because we know that this is a case about popcorn and a thrown bag of popcorn. I mean, the dramatic moment when law enforcement unseals the popcorn bag. But now the defense is arguing that Oulson threw a cell phone at Reeves, and there's no evidence that that's happened. So I think the prosecution played this tape to tell the jurors, listen, he said he was hit in the side of the head or the eye. He didn't mention his cell phone. This is a case about popcorn kernels, and he shot a man in a crowded movie theater over popcorn. I think that's why the prosecution did it. I personally wouldn't have played it, but I understand why they did.
Eckler Mercy, this is what happened in the George Zimmerman trial. Prosecutors played Zimmerman's statement. He was never cross-examined. No one ever asked him a tough question. His entire defense came in through the prosecution, at least his statements. Are you afraid that we could have a repeat of that?
I don't think so. I think that his statement seems he seems real puffed up. He wasn't sad about anything. He felt like he had the authority to do it. And I don't think that it's going to rub the jury the right way. I think that it actually hurt him. And no offense, I've had clients like him. He's going to want to testify. He is going to want to tell his side of the story. It's going to be epic. But I believe that in the back scenes, that his attorneys they are trying to put a muzzle on him because he's going to want to testify. That's what they do. They're going to want to testify.
You know, Kirk, sometimes clients get on the stand and they start testifying, and all of a sudden you look at the calendar and it's a month later and they're still testifying. I've seen that happen, Kirk. But let me ask you, seriously, Kirk, let me ask you. Prosecutors in the Zimmerman case were extremely confident that no one would believe Zimmerman's story. They were confident that the story didn't make sense. They thought they could use it to impeach the entire and unravel the self-defense claim. It didn't work. It didn't work. I am afraid here that this could potentially happen.
Well, Vinny, I don't think you should have those same fears because, like I said before, I called his interview tape like a confession tape. Think how many times the officers asked him, did he have a gun? Did he have anything? Was your life in jeopardy, etc.? He says, no, 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 no. And Nima's right. Now they're talking about the hurling of a cell phone. It is about popcorn, and it is shooting a gun off in a crowded theater. So the fact patterns are so completely different here that I think they were wise in making this decision, and obviously we're going to find out. But I also agree with Eklund. I think This defendant has the kind of hubris that he's going to want to go on the stand and tell his side of the story, and he's just going to believe that people are going to believe him because he's a quote-unquote good guy, which is exactly the approach he took with cops. And like I say, I think what he did ultimately is more of a confession than an interview.
Okay, Think Tank with us the whole hour. Eklund Mercy, Nima Rahmani, Kirk Nurmi. When we come back,